project. It's such a pleasure for me to come and speak at this club. It is almost as difficult to get a speaking slot at this club as it is to ride a unicycle up Puke Hill and down the Watson Trail. So for me to get up here is a real pleasure, and I thank whoever it is who is sick or died or traveled. All of you know me from Park City, Utah, but I spent much of my time in sunny Savannah, Georgia. Raise your hand if you've ever had a chance to visit Savannah, Georgia. Oh, good. Well, a good number of you. I'm going to tell you a little bit about Savannah, Georgia, and why that will always be part of our lives, why we will always spend some time in Savannah, Georgia. And you'll have to forgive me, I try to never use words, but today I only have to. We'll start with history. Everything I tell you is going to be in factors of three. Three pieces of information per category. History. The city of Savannah was founded by James Oglethorpe, a Revolutionary War captain, in 1733. Savannah was the first capital of the 13th colony, later renamed Georgia. And I think most interestingly, Savannah is so beautiful, and I will get into that in just a moment, that General William Tecumseh Sherman, in his famous March to the Sea from Atlanta, when he slashed and burned his way throughout the South, made Savannah whole, did not sack it, and gave it to President Abraham Lincoln as a gift. So Savannah was never burned and reconstructed. Physically, Savannah has three attributes I'll mention to you. First of all, the ocean is very nearby. Second of all, the Savannah River is a major port of commerce. And thirdly, the low country marshes, estuaries, etc. give that golden look that you're all familiar with from what's called Carolina Low Country or Georgia's coastal empire. Architecture is one of the most important attributes of Savannah, Georgia. The three things I'll mention are cobblestone streets, antebellum architecture, which, as I said, was never compromised by the Civil War, or as we Southerners call it, the War of Northern Depression. Y'all. And thirdly, and most importantly, the city squares. There are 16 city squares in Savannah, which makes Savannah, Georgia, America's first planned city. Now, how many of you have ever been to Gramercy Park in Lower Manhattan? The best analogy for the squares in Savannah is Gramercy Park. Now, Gramercy Park, you could fit 1,000 Gramercy Parks into Central Park, but it's a perfectly square one-block oasis of green in Lower Manhattan. Savannah's 16 city squares are like 16 Gramercy Parks laid out in a grid fashion, named Chippewa Square, Orleans Square, Monterey Square, etc. They are all filled with statuary, cannonry, plaques, benches, and most importantly, large, gnarled, live oak trees that cast shade throughout the park. And it is probably the single biggest physical attribute of Savannah. Let me tell you about the three of our major festivals. I'm not going to mention the film festival because, hey, Sundance. But there are three you should take note of. One is St. Patrick's Day. Savannah is a city of 130,000 people. 500,000 people come to Savannah for St. Patrick's Day. I've lived there 18 years. I've been in Park City 16 of those 18 St. Patrick's Day, and I will continue to keep that now. We want to stay clear. The second is the Savannah Music Festival, which is truly amazing, and it begins on St. Patrick's Day. 17 days, a dozen venues, 100+ artists. Zydeco, blues, opera, classical, gospel, show tunes, big band, rock. There is something for everyone at the Savannah Music Festival, and it attracts people from 50 states and a dozen foreign countries. Thirdly is the Savannah Book Festival. This is a new festival, about 6 years old. Some of the biggest names in publishing come to Savannah, along with dozens of lesser lights, local, regional, and specialized. And everyone from Mitch Alabone to Jan Ivanovich to James Patterson will come and speak at the Savannah World Festival. Lastly, I want to tell you 3 reasons why Savannah is hot. And I don't mean 100 degrees it is today, which is why I'm here in Utah until October. There are 3 main reasons Savannah has become a destination of choice in the last 30 years. I'm going to give them to you chronologically. First of all, the advent of the Savannah College of Art and Design, known as SCAD. SCAD is a hipster university. It attracts a dreadlocked, tattooed, and nose-ringed crowd from all 50 states and 20 foreign countries. Kids who come to learn graphics, animation, art in all its forms. And they provide the city an eclectic counterculture vibe that was missing before SCAD was formed in the 1970s. And Savannah was always a conservative, southern, Republican city. SCAD, the university itself, has renovated dozens and dozens of downtown buildings, and that has helped the refurbishment of the city. But just the kids themselves, the 5,000 or 8,000 kids who are in town 8 months, 9 months a year, makes Savannah a place to be. Secondly, a famous novel in Savannah is only known as The Book. But some of you might have heard of it. Midnight in the Garden of Good and Evil. Raise your hand if you've heard of that book. It is a semi-factual, semi-fictional account of a flamboyant antiques dealer and the star-crossed love affair he had with a boy from across the tracks that ended in murder and mayhem. It was written by a New Yorker named John Berent, who traveled to Savannah regularly and slowly became enmeshed in the quirkiness of high society in Savannah. And the centerpiece of the novel was this love affair. Millions of people have come to Savannah to take the book tour and see the squares, the cemeteries, the night spots, and the mansions described by John Berent in his book, which was on the New York Times bestseller list for 250 weeks. Thirdly and finally, and most controversially, Savannah is home to the queen of Southern cuisine, Paula Deen. Paula Deen is the maestro of the 4 Southern food groups: butter, sugar, salt, and grease.
Healthy.
Whether you like her or dislike her, Paula Deen has quite a bit of impact in Savannah. I'm personally not a fan. I think she's fake. I think she's cheesy. I think she's racist. And I also think the food that she foists upon society is a heart attack on a plate. I could live with the fried chicken and the collard greens, but I draw the line at the bacon double cheeseburger served on a jelly donut. But there can be no mistake that hundreds of thousands of people come to Savannah every year and waddle into Paula's restaurant for a fine meal. So there you have it, reasons to visit Savannah, Georgia. If any of you